tell them your name and what we're debating first?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello. My name is Kim Won Kim. And I stated that the physician-assisted death is a multiple option in relieving someone from their misery. According to Brittany Maynard, she was diagnosed with glioblastoma and chose to end her life. In her case, she stated, "My glioblastoma is going to kill me, and that's out of my control." She told People last month. I've discussed with many experts how I would die from it, and it's a terrible, terrible way to die. So being able to choose to go with dignity is less terrifying. The physician-assisted death is rather a voluntary consent that the patient is willing to let go of his or her suffering for the continuation of a non-treatable disease. In many cases, medicine has been engineered to induce our suffering in the midst of treatment. However, in rare cases, some of the diseases are incurable, bringing scarring pain to not just the patient alone, but to everyone surrounding that person. It is personal autonomy to choose to end the pain of a never-ending suffering. Choosing to end one's life isn't a way to escape the relative of pain in this world, but it is a way for an incurable disease to be released from one's life. With that, the freedom in which the United States had allowed us is our personal autonomy, in which we can decide whether to continue the treatment for induced suffering or to end the terminal disease. According to Westminster Confession of Faith, it said, God has endued the will of man with that natural liberty. As stated, the Reformed theology is biblically centered theological perspective focusing on the sovereignty of Scripture, the sovereignty of God, His election, redemption, and our securing in Christ's word. In that, it is imperative to not let our selfishness consume ourselves in wishing for extended life for the patient. Rather, an aid to which decision will relieve of the never-ending pain. With that said, after standardized or even extraordinary treatment, if the pain can no longer be endured, we can choose to hold on to either a life full of benefits or a life full of burden. It may be thought that in the midst of treatment, the patient can and will be able to hold on longer, just until a curable medicine is found. But at the rate in which the patient is immensely suffering with the process of the medicine being engineered, the rational decision in this case is to first hold onto life as long as possible. But when needed to let go, the patient will ponder over his or her sovereignty, realizing that the patient is suffering more than living. The difference between death and dying is death already states one's terminal life, and dying is the process of which one's life being terminal. So to see the general sense of the state of the incurable disease, we can then decide that the patient is holding onto thin strings of life rather than for the chance of recuperation. The family may decide for the optimal treatment course, but for disease that is not willing to give up, the stamina of fighting the pain is unbearable for the patient, which resulting to the last case scenario, death.
I'm Robert Bannon, and I will now be making a case of why we should not pursue physician-assisted suicide. Does physician-assisted suicide really help those who seek it out? What makes physician-assisted suicide different than any other type of suicide? First, I want to point out that while the reasons for committing suicide can be complex and multifaceted, for the purpose of this debate, I want to make 2 points when it comes to suicide. First of all, those who take their life, for whatever reason, assisted or not assisted, do so because they believe that the world will be better off without them. The person contemplating suicide has come to feel that they are a heavy burden to those around them, and that the relief of this burden is best solved by the ending of their life. The second reason people want to end their lives is because they are in pain. As Richard McCormick reminds us in his essay, Physician-Assisted Suicide, Flight from Compassion, quote, "Many people fear not death, but dying. And one thing they fear most about dying is pain. Human beings will do just about anything to avoid pain in their lives. This includes both physical and emotional pain. My proposal is that pain is inevitable. We can try to avoid it all we want to, but in the end, we all suffer to a certain degree during our